What's going on, guys? Triple M here, and today I got a nice little treat for you. Now, for everyone that has been subscribed to my channel, you know that I do a lot of coding reviews, a lot of APKs, different ways to cut the cable cord, also a lot of product reviews that will save you money in the long run. So first and foremost, I love some tech, and when I see a cool product, I jump on it at the drop of a dime. So today we're taking a look at the Tevo Tornado. This is a very popular 3D printer, guys, very affordable for you guys that are in the market, and it does a lot of cool things that a lot of the competitors don't offer. Now, in today's video, we're going to do a quick unboxing. We're also going to do a setup. We're going to check out the software. We're going to print some models and just see how it performs. Now, big shout out to GEARBEST for sending this model out to me to review, but I will be checking with them just to see if they have some coupon codes. That way we can save you guys a couple of dollars if you do decide to purchase. Now, Tevo Tornado is one of the most popular 3D printers out there. It's also very affordable, guys. It does have a big print space, and let's scroll down. We're going to take a look at some of the specs. First of all, large print surface, guys. It's 300 by 300 by 400, so it is a square design, but the height is 400. That allows you to print models that are a little bit tall, guys, and I will be demonstrating that a little bit later. 95% assembled. What that means is that you only have a couple screws to put in, and then you're off and ready to go. Max print speed 150 millimeters per second, high traverse speed, 50 microns, high accuracy, so it's very accurate. Bowden style Titan extruder. Fast heating AC bed as well, very stable structure with aluminum frame, compact design, and also has a LCD panel. So it does support these filaments, guys. It does support ABS, carbon fiber, flexible filaments. It also supports PETG, PLA. In my demonstration, I will be using PLA. Very stable. This is one of the most popular filaments that's out there. The diameter for the PLA that I am using is 1.75 millimeter, and I will be putting that in the description as well. Here's a file format, so you have G code or STL. I will be using G code. Voltage is 110 or 220. Does have a computer software. I will be using REPETIER host. The packing is unassembled, and I'll show you guys how to set that up in a little bit. System, it supports Windows, Linux, as well as Mac. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you guys have any questions about anything on this video, just feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. Alright, so let's go ahead and open the box. First things on top, you see, comes with an instruction booklet, and this is very important. Has some of the software settings that you will need to put in once you load the software. Another layer of styrofoam. It's packaged very nicely, guys. Very nice modular design, and this helps prevent damage during the shipment. You can see you do have a spatula. Of course, this will help you remove the printouts from your print bed. Do have a couple of these packages. They are well labeled. This one has an 8 GB SD card. Also has some zip ties and some other wiring just to help keep everything organized. This one has some of the screws, some of the mounts. It also has a T bracket, and this will help keep your Z-axis gantry mounted to your platform. Here's an extra PTFA tubing or fluoropolymer tubing, and this is where you actually push your filament through. Some more wires, packets. Here's another one. This has a limiter switch attached to it as well. Another package, A3. This has a lot of the tools, so a lot of the Allen keys are in that packet. Here's your power cable. You also have a USB cable. This is A to B, and of course this is used to connect your printer to your PC. Very short USB cable, but I recommend just go ahead and purchase in a longer one or get an extension, because this will not be long enough. You do have another packet, A5. This has the leveling springs for the bed. So the control there, it is a push button as well, so you can turn through the menus and push to select. On this side, you can see has a SD slot as well as a USB to plug into your computer. On the back, it does have two connections for the printer. They both have unique pins, so there's no way of getting them mixed up. Also has the plug-in right there, of course. And it does have the fuse information. Go ahead and flip it over so you guys can read it. It also has a power button. It does have a power supply for the LCD and the hot end, and it does have a separate power supply for the heated bed, guys. Now, connected to the head unit, you do have the wiring harnesses. These are very well labeled, so it does say X-axis as well as limiter switch or extruder, so very well labeled, easy to hook up, and the connections, once again, they are unique to that connection, so no chance of getting them mixed up if you're on the same area. So we do have the Z-axis gantry right there, and let's see if we can go ahead and pull it out. All right, so there we go. This part is partially assembled, so you do have the extruder on here. You also have one of the harnesses that mounts into your main board, and you can see everything is pretty much assembled. You just have to connect the bottom to the platform of your printer. All right, let's go ahead and take it the styrofoam out. You do have another layer of equipment, and there it is. There's the print bed. Mine is in red. You do have a green version. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull this out. All right, you can see it does come with a test print on top, guys, and this is just let you know that everything was working out of the factory. All right, so here's the bed with the heating tray not attached as of yet. And flip it over, you see some wheels underneath, and those are actually just make sure those are secure, guys, not too loose. So the bed does have 2 holes on each side, and that's where the Z-axis will mount. And all you have to do is just go ahead and line them up. Alright, so once you have it lined up, guys, you do have the Allen screws that came in the packet. All you have to do is put them through the hole, tighten them up, not too tight, but just go ahead and use the Allen wrenches that came in the package. This entire assembly took about 20 minutes or so, so just take your time, make sure you're doing it right. Alright, so once you're done, you're going to put in the T-shaped brackets on each side of the Z-axis, guys. So this does have some self-tapping nut that kind of mounts into the frame. And if you guys purchase this, you will know what I'm talking about. It just kind of sits in the frame, and once you tighten them, they will go ahead and secure themselves. So that's that side. We'll flip it over. We'll do the same thing on this side. This side, just be careful because you do have the limiter switch right on top, so make sure you don't damage that in the process. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach the heating bed to the actual printer, and you do have the springs that will keep the tension. I will be showing you guys how to actually level those a little bit later, but for now just put in the springs, make sure the screws are tight. So once we're done with that, we're just going to go ahead and connect the harnesses. Just make sure you read which axis goes where. So once we power it on from here, we need to go ahead and make sure the bed is level. So if you look at this image right here, you see the screws underneath and the springs between that. And I'm using a piece of paper because you want to make sure it's close to the bed but not too tight. The paper should run freely with very little resistance. That's why I'm getting it all tied in, guys. The distance between the extruder and the actual print bed should be 0.7 millimeters. That's pretty tight, just enough to get the paper underneath and not have any resistance on it, guys. Now during the print, if you look closely, what you want is the extruder to be so close to the bed that it just barely mushes it, but not too far and not too close. If it gets too close, you're gonna lose your prints, guys. Same thing if you get too far away, you're gonna have the PLA just curl up and not stick to the bed. So very important. And for most people that are experiencing issues, this is the area that they need to go back and revisit. Just make sure the bed is leveled. So as you can see, I'm moving the bed, moving to all 4 corners, and just want to make sure I have good distance between all 4 corners, guys. Can't reiterate this enough how important this is. And you can go ahead and move it around from the control panel with no issues. Now there is a custom firmware for this printer that does this automatically, but that's a separate video, and I'll probably do an updated video in a week or 2 just to show you guys how to add that custom firmware. All right, so 1 more corner left. So let me quickly go over the REPETIER host, which is the software that you'll more than likely be using to make your prints. You want to make sure that the printer is connected to your computer using the USB cable that they gave you. We need to find out what port this printer is using on our computer, and to do that we need to go to our device manager. So the easiest way to do that, from Windows 10, press your Windows key and just type this PC. Then go ahead and right click on it and go to manage. So from here we're going to go to our device manager. All right, so let me scroll down. So what we're looking for is under ports, COM, LPT. Click there, And this should be it right here. If you go into it, so mine is using COM port 3, and if you have multiple devices in here, if you double click on it, and what we're looking for is the manufacturer, it should be FTDI. So the only thing we need to know from this screen is that we're using COM port 3, and this is very necessary for the software setup. So we're going to click OK. We're just going to get out of here. Let me go ahead and launch REPETIER host. All right. So that's the software. Before I jump into it, this is the original files that came with the Tornado 3D printer, and what I did, I just copied them to a USB. So I did add some additional things in here, but a couple things that came with it is the config right here, config file. You also have the setup. This is a REPETIER host setup. However, this is an older version. The current version is 2.0.5. The version that came with my printer was 2.0.1. So I'll put a link in the description where you can download the latest version. All right, we also have some default printouts and test prints that came with it. So the spool holder, I did print that one out, and I'll show you guys that a little bit later. Statue of Liberty stuff that I downloaded. Test came with it as well. You also have a user's manual right here. And let me go ahead and open this. This is going to be part of our setup. So let me go ahead and minimize this screen for now. Just know that this is on a USB drive. So minimize this, and then bring the manual to the forefront. It does have some information that you need to put into the REPETIER host, guys. So that's why. Let me go to the config page. All right, so it's just showing you some basic information that you need to put into the software just to make sure you can communicate properly and make sure everything's working. So they do have some values right here that's specific to this printer. All right, so move that to the side. Here's a printer software. So real quick, this is just a default standardized size. This is not the actual Tornado. So first thing we want to do is we want to connect our printer. Go to your printer settings right here in the top right. Sorry, open another page. And this screen will pop up, guys. So see right here, you need to choose your COM port. Mine is on port 3. Sometimes it will work with auto, but just make sure you detect and select the port that your printer is connected to. So click apply, click OK, and now we can go ahead and connect to the printer. You can see right here that just changed to connected. All right, so let me go to my printer settings again. All right, so there's the page, and basically you just want to choose your COM port. The COM port is going to be different based on what you're doing. So see the connection, serial connection, COM port 3 for me. The baud rate, 250,000. Auto detect. All right, so receive cache size, want to change that to 63. Want to leave that at 40 at the bottom. All right, so that was that page. We'll go to the next page. And this is for the print shape. Very, very important, guys. This will give you an accurate print area. That way the object that you print in will take full advantage of the print surface. So I'm gonna go ahead and change these values. So the X max is 320. The Y max is 320 as well. All right, the width right here is 300. Print area depth 300. The height is 400. All right, so that's it for this page. We'll scroll down a little bit more. All right, so printer settings. This is under the printer tab. So here. So travel feed rate, we're gonna 150.00. The Z-axis is gonna be 3000. Extrusion speed is gonna be 3. And this is gonna be 25. Manual retraction speed 150. Default temperature, that's at 210. We want to set the bed temperature. We're going to put that at 80. We do have a heated bed on this guy. All right, scroll down. This guy is set to 300. And it's basically just copying the information that you see in your settings of the manual, guys. All right, so now we're gonna hit apply. Notice that the height of my bed changed, and it accurately matches my print area now. That's true to my printer. All right, so let me go back in. Now we're gonna go to our slicer, so right here, and it's saying that you're gonna select the second option here. All right, click on configuration here. All right, so once you select configuration, this will pop up, guys. All right, and we're gonna click file and we're gonna load config. So file, load config, and now we're gonna browse to that actual file that came with the printer, guys. So mine is on let's go to my computer here. It is on my recordings folder, new folder, and there it is right there. So whatever, this should come with the SD card that came with your printer, and all you have to do is just copy it somewhere you know where the location is, and then you can select this config file. So click that, click open. It will go ahead and set it up for you. All right, so load config, select Tornado from SD card, rename the print settings, filament, printer to Tornado, and save. And let's go ahead and load an object. So we do have a couple things on here. We do have a couple vases, Statue of Liberty, which I will be printing out, but let's try one of the vases. Let's try this one right here. I just downloaded them. There it is. Zoom out. So from here you can do a couple things here. So right here is the scale, so you can make it bigger. Right here it is locked, and what that means is that whenever you change, the value of the X, Y, and Z will change as well. So that keeps it symmetrical to what it is. If you unlock it, you can do weird stuff like make it oblong and do all kind of crazy stuff. Don't want to do that. So right now it's set to 1, so if I change it to 2, it should double the size. All right, same thing if I change it to 4, you can see it gets pretty big. If you guys just want a big print, you can just set to maximum, and that will just fill in the print area. All right, so the maximum is 3.03, and that will basically cover the entire print bed. So don't want it that big. Let's go ahead and change it. We're going to change it to, let's do 1.5. That's a decent size right there. All right, you can do other things. Like I said, you can view the cross sections if you really wanted to. All right, so a lot of different options. Just gonna leave it as is. You can see how cool that looks. All right, so do have the option to slice it. We do have a print preview, but that's after you slice it, but I'm just gonna leave that for now. But you do have some manual controls over the actual machine, guys, which is pretty cool. So right here you can see my current temperature. So if I wanted to get the extruder warmed up, I can go ahead and do that. That might be helpful if you guys are replacing the filament. Just go ahead and warm it up, then you can release the tension and just pull it out that way. You can do the same thing for the bed. You have control over the fan. You can move the different axes from here, guys. You can also set your home location. You can see now it's set to home. I can raise it up. This is my Z axis, of course. You guys hear it moving in the background. And same thing, you can move it this way. Move the bed. If it's already forward, you can move it back. Or you can just hit home and it will go back to the start location. So very cool. And this is one of the parts that I use a lot when I'm getting my stuff ready. So let's go to slicer. We already have our object that we're gonna print. Gonna click on the slicer here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to slice with slicer. And you do have the option to kill it while it's doing it, but we'll just let it go through. And we'll just give it a second, and there we go, guys. So how cool is that? Forgot to mention over here, you do have options to zoom. You can also zoom object to fit. Different views right here. So cool things you can do with this guy. We have what it's going to look like. From here we can print directly from the software. We can edit it, and that's if you guys are advanced users. You guys want to see everything, it's up to you. You can also save to file, or you can save for SD print. So if you guys do have an SD card, you can go ahead and save the G code to print from an SD card. So right now I'm just going to print from the software. And this will actually give you a 3D representation while it's printing. So every pass, every filament, and you do have options. You can control the flow rate and also control the feed rate. So if you guys want like a rounder or fatter print, you can go ahead and you do have that option. All right, so extruder is at 200. Right now the bed is still warming up, but it is starting its print, and you can see right here. Let me go ahead and zoom in. So that's it for this video, guys. Just a quick overview of the Tevo Tornado. I know that I did cover a lot, went over the unboxing, the setup, also did the software overview, all the way up to a test print as we're looking at right now. I'm sure I'm missing some things, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below of this video, and I'll try to answer your questions, or I will do a follow-up video just to address your concerns. So overall, I was impressed with the printer. Two things I did not like about it, and it's not really a knock on the printer itself. It's the fact that it did not come with filament, and it did not come with a spool holder. So on the SD card that was provided with the packaging, there was a spool holder on there that you can print out, but that kind of defeats the purpose. If you have to print out a spool holder, how are you going to hold the spool while it's being printed? And it's just backwards. So I just went ahead and I purchased the spool holder as well as the filament, just so I can get my prints out and running. So besides that, no complaints, guys. The build quality was good. It's all metal, aluminum, not too many plastic parts on here, and performance is A1 as well. So once again, I'll put a link in the description where you can pick it up on GearBest. Please give me a big thumbs up if you like this video. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I have a lot of cool tech reviews coming up this year, and definitely want to bring you guys along for the ride. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.